Welcome back to Half A Hot Rods. If you've never watched our channel before, what we do here is prove time after time that you don't need all the right tools, a whole bunch of skill, or a whole bunch of money to have fun with old trucks and cars. A project that I started last time around was the John Deere Monster Wagon, and we got it into a status as a roller. And this time around, we're going to do the fabrication to make the wagon tub fit to the ATV chassis. May not sound like a big deal, but I'm not a fabricator. I've never had any classes, any instruction on how to do this stuff, other than watching guys on YouTube and trying to figure stuff out myself. So we went into a lot of detail in this video as to how I did it, some of the bumps in the road that I hit, and hopefully that'll help you out if you decide you want to do something like this. Let's get going. Okay, we're back for day 2 of this project. It's now December 7th. It's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It is currently 76 degrees out, and the humidity just says yes. We have all of it. All of the humidity is here. It feels like summertime, but it's not snowing and we're not freezing. I didn't have to break any ice out of my water tanks for the donkeys this morning. So I got a few things done around the house. We got a little bit of hay for the half A's, just a little bit. That should keep them for a minute. Last week at the end of my work day on this stuff, I went in and picked up some supplies. I got some paint, and anybody who's bought tractor parts knows that this particular green and yellow sends the price up. These were more than I wanted to spend on them, but it's the right color. These little turnbuckle deals are going to be the front shocks, and then just a miscellaneous bunch of carriage bolts and nuts, washers, and lock washers. I got those from Tractor Supply because they charge by the pound, and it's a pretty good price that way. So today on the ATV / wagon, I've got a little list here for us to go through. Not necessarily in this order, but we need to build the mounts to put that tub on there, build the steering mount for the upper part to support it, clean the beads on all the tires so they'll seal up, get some paint on it, put some green slime in the tires. I've got wood slat sides for the wagon. We need to get those cleaned up, change the one tire that doesn't match, and then figure out how to mount the little cooler. The little cooler could go either way. I'd like to put it on there, but if we run out of time, I may not get it. But I need to get everything done so that we can paint this thing. Because of the high humidity, it's going to take a little longer to dry. Luckily, we have higher temperatures, so that should help us a little bit. But yeah, so I've got to get cracking. I'm going to get the tire switched out and then get all the other tires that I'm not using out of the shop. And then figure out, so this was one of the upper handlebar steering brace mounts. I'm going to flip it under here, weld it on there. Should help support this. And then we'll have to build a bracket to come off here to attach to our wagon handle so it can turn. We may need to clearance this a little bit to get full lock, but it's real close already. So let's get going on this thing, see how far we get. We really need to get it in paint today, preferably. Take this little guy over to the grinder and try and make a better edge. Probably doesn't matter a whole bunch, but it matters to me.
Well, it matters to me.
I gotta remind myself not to get carried away with finish work on something that's not gonna be seen. Okay. That's sitting pretty good there. We'll get a grinder and clean some of the rust off this guy, and then see if we can weld this. This stuff's real thin if I remember right, so it could be an adventure. Okay, so I got the grinder and the welder both plugged into the same power strip as my Christmas lights, which should be fine.
Mark?
We'll bring this bad boy up to where she touches good. Don't really have a good way to hold that other than just to hold it. We'll put our ground on, turn the welder all the way down because, like I said, this tubing is thin. Put an old bath towel over my Crocs, because safety third. Okay, so far we're not welding to the tube at all, just putting bird poop on the bracket. Give it a little more wire speed and see what that does. That's more better. Ouch. Probably should be wearing the correct gloves for this. Been burned about 4 times now. We can cut this shaft right off there, clean up my poopy welds, and then we'll flip it over to get the rest of it, but I think that's more gooder. I definitely think we're going to need some more weld on that. That really should just help provide a little structure along with other things, but it's not, I can feel it moving, so it's not strong enough yet. A wise man once told me, grinder and paint make you the welder you ain't. Or maybe he was just a wise guy. I don't know. It could be worse.
You could do a whole lot better.
It's pretty solid. We'll get some from underneath too. I don't hate that. It's not perfect, but it's not terrible. Alright, so that's in. Now we got to figure out how to attach this handle. And then once it's attached, confirm that we have full range of motion, because it's going to be close. So what I'm thinking is we'll just take a piece of strap and wrap it around this, and it'll come out like this. And then we will have holes in it so that we can run put this guy in here and just run a pin through. And then we should be able to tack weld that all the way around this steering arm after I raise this up. Make sure I do that. And that way we'll have more grab on that. So let's go find a little piece of strap. Or scraps, scraps, or scraps. I don't know. This shop is a mess. This is probably way overkill. tube, square tube. Okay, I guess this is the stuff. We'll see if I can cut it and bend it the way I want to. I mean, shoot. That's the basic idea. Make sure we still fit here. It's okay that it's tight, because once it's down in there, about yonder way, we're going to weld it. We'll put a pin through here, and our wagon handle will go in. Alright? Just like so. And then this will move the whole thing. Okay. So, now, we just got to figure out where to whack this to make it work with that, and then we'll try and make it a little bit pretty too, or at least we'll make it not so ugly that it stands out, because that's not what we want. So I think what we'll do, we'll mark the end of this bracket to be with the end of where this wear mark is, because that's where it would have attached originally. You got to make sure there's enough room for this to pivot up and down too. Probably going to come as a surprise, but I'm not 100% sure how to make sure I'm doing this so that it's going to work, other than just wing it. Let's go get a marker. Just mark it, cut it, drill it, see what happens. You know what I mean? Let's find the center of that. Cheapest drill bits money can buy. Okay. I think this is 3-inch strap. 2.5. So we need 1.25. That's warm. That's warm. It's not that warm. It just didn't take me long to feel it.
Yeah, right.
But I want to put a little bit of a radius in this piece so that it's not fugly. So we got circles. It's close. We'll come back with the bench grinder. Ooh, that was warm! Let's go see if we can make it round. No, let's see if we can make it round. That ain't round at all. So there it is after the bench grinder. We're going to smooth it out a little more with a flap disc. It's not perfectly even, but I think it's close enough for what it is. That thing's so darn pretty, I almost want to just clear coat it. No. Let you guys see what I'm seeing here. So I just got to figure out a way to hold that against this shaft so I can tack it. And I don't want it to move because I'm pretty sure that's about as close to perfectly centered as we're going to get. There's going to be some movement in these holes. Just that's the way wagons always are. That's not what I wanted to do. Set the rubber on fire. Seems to be only welding on the piece that I cut, not on the tube. We're burning lots of rubber, which is also not what I really wanted. Let's see if we got enough tack on there to pull it off and work on it. Everything should be good and hot now, right? Yep. Still hot. I guess as long as, yeah. So as long as this tab on the bottom is in line with the center of this, we should be good. This is not attached at all anymore. Okay. That's fine. Really need to grind that anyway. However, do we know where it needs to go now? Probably not. Well, we know that the rubber sits even with the top. One of these days I'll stop grabbing a hold of all this stuff that I know is hot. Today is not that day. If this one's sitting like this, then the other one just has to hang straight down. Just has to be far enough down to clear the rubber, which has now been cut and set on fire. And the real bugger of it is this thing isn't perfectly straight, so we just kind of got to line it up with where that is at the top, where it is straight. I think that's as close as we're going to get. Now that we have nice clean surfaces, maybe she'll weld better. Or maybe that wasn't the problem at all. Maybe it was the welder. I said tacks, but I got a bigger gap there than what I really want. Worski says if you can't weld good, just weld a lot. I don't think he's serious about that though. We are getting some heat up in this hog, I'll tell you that. Okay, so the battery went dead, but I was just cranking along. I got most of this done. I've got to go back through the hand sandpaper and clean up all the spots I couldn't get to. I'm going to start reassembling some of the stuff that's going to get painted together and go from there and kind of hand sand as I go through and as I see spots and go from there. Probably should have wore a dust mask because I don't know if my teeth look like my hands, but probably my lungs do. So anyway, here we go. Okay, so we're starting day 3 on the wagon build. Some of those were half days, so that's not 100% accurate. Day 2, the battery got empty, the memory card got full, and I was trying to find a good spot to stop anyway. There's stuff falling on my shop hound. Because yesterday was my first day off. The way my regular job schedule works, I go 3 or 4 days without seeing anybody in my house because, you know, despite the tens of you watching my videos, I still have to work a full-time job. So we called it quits about dinner time, went in and hung out with the family. Back on it today. Let me show you where we got after the battery died and the memory card got full. So I got the steering fully mounted up. It's not fully mounted actually because I need to finish with some final tweaks and stuff, but I got a good test on here and this mount is going to work the way I want it. I think I'm going to try and bend it a little more to make it a little prettier, but it does function as I want it to. It looks like it's going to hit right here, but it's not because the stop on the underside that I was showing you before, this guy down here, is actually hitting first. So it's close, but as you can see when I move it up, it actually does clear. And everything moves like it's supposed to. Once I've got wheels and tires on there, we'll make final adjustments with these tie rod ends to make sure everything's going straight forward and back. I would say most of the prep work on these parts is done. We're going to use these turnbuckles instead of shocks in the front, just because I think it's going to look a little nicer. I need to figure out like a bushing because I'm not happy with how loosely those fit, and I don't want them to rattle all the time. I know it's a wagon, but I still don't want them to rattle all the time. So yeah, let's look at our list. I was pretty excited. I felt like we made good progress yesterday based on the amount of time that I actually put into it, because I was only out here about 4 hours, and then I went to check stuff off my list, and I didn't check off nearly as much as I thought I was gonna. So the paint prep is almost done. I still need to do the wheels. The tub mounts I still need to build. The steering mounts are both done. I need to clean the beads on the tires, paint. I'll have to go to town for slime for the tires, clean the wood sides. Still seems like there's a lot that needs to get done. And really I want to get it painted today so that it's got a full day to dry before I try and put it in the truck and haul it down there for the FFA auction. So I guess there's nothing left to do but get to work. Nothing to it but to do it, right? So let's get cranking. What are we going to start with? I should always leave myself a note like, this is where you need to start tomorrow. We got wheels and tires that need prepped. That's easy. And then mounting the tub. I think we'll prep wheels and tires so I can put them back on temporarily. That way I can make sure the tub's going to sit the way I want it to. We'll do that. Wheels and tires and then tub.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go!
I was so covered in black dust yesterday by the time I went in the house that my wife's like, you go directly to the shower, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Which, I didn't know that $200 was an option prior. Look at this. All three of these tires are the same size, according to what's written on the side. Not one of them looks the same. Look at that. When they both got air in them, they look pretty similar. Okay, we'll clean those up. Man, that's really dry cracked. Okay. Alright. So hopefully all those wheels and tires will seal up now. Change of plans, because if they're not sealed, then they're not going to hold this the way it is. We're just going to mount the tub on here. So yeah, let's figure out how to do that. That makes me so happy that that steering actually works. What I'm looking at here, I guess. So I think we've got it pretty well centered. We can't be sure that's center because I did it, but I think that the tub is pretty well centered on the ATV frame. And then lengthwise, I don't want it hanging way over the back. I'll tighten this enough that it'll stay up there like that, even if it's not leaning back. I'm kind of thinking we'll just run some strap this way across the frame front and back, and then we'll do a little more support in the middle because I don't want it to go whoop. And then, yeah, we'll just bolt it down to the strap. because I've got that 3-inch strap we were using, right? Let's see how that looks. I would like to try and use the existing holes where I can, but back one maybe, but the front one's going to be farther back than I want it, and this one's going to be farther forward than I want it, so we'll drill a new one for the front. So I'm going to line the front edge of this up with the front edge of this hole. That'll help me find it once I take this off here and flip it over. Don't worry about that. That little guy? Don't worry about that little guy.
Oh, that little guy? I wouldn't worry about that little guy.
Well, my edge is straighter, but those angles are not the same. Is it going to matter on the underside of the wagon? Probably not. I'm the only one that's ever going to know. Well, all 14 of the people that watch this. It's the weirdest thing. This stuff gets hot when you grind on it. Now I have 1/4-inch nuts, bolts, and washers all over the floor behind the bench. And I still don't have what I need up here. This is why things take me so long. Maybe most of them stayed in the bag. I still got to crawl over these other crap. Yep. Well, most of them did stay in the bag. What are the odds? Maybe I should clean my shop. No, that can't be it. Okay, I don't hate how that looks. I think that's going to be good enough for government work. All right, let's set it back on here, position it, and then we'll tack this in place, unbolt it from the tub, and work on the back one. I need to figure out where the center of this frame is, because I want the tub to be centered on the frame. Maybe no one would ever notice, but I really want it to be in the middle, because why wouldn't you put it in the middle? I mean, that's just logical. We need to find the center, don't we? We got to find the center. All right, we got to find the center of this frame. 6 3/4. So half of 6 is 3. What's half of 3/4? I like to think I'm pretty good at math, but figuring out fractions of fractions, not so good. 0.75 divided by 2. 0.375. What's 0.375 in a fraction? Somebody out there just knows this stuff and is driving them crazy like, you're an idiot. Well, maybe I am. Maybe I also don't have any internet service. So what was the question? Son of a... Alright. So 3 plus half of 3/4 is 3/8. So 3 3/8. That was easy. Where's my marker? This mess over here has not gotten smaller. So which one's 3/8?
Can someone help me with this puzzle?
Going? I don't know. Again, it's not rocket surgery. It doesn't have to be so exact, but it's going to bug me if it's just way off. Why can't things be simple? Why can't everything just be even numbers so it's easier for me to do the math? Why does the center of this tub look like it's so far off? I'll tell you what I think we're going to do. I think, because it's going to play tricks on us if we don't, we're going to try and line up the deer and the center of the old wagon pivot. Oh, they do not line up with each other. Son of a... See, I'm trying to achieve a certain standard here, and the problem is the original wagon wasn't assembled to that same standard. So, obviously I'm being too picky, because that John Deere, and I never noticed it till right now, it's not centered. I don't think this wagon pivot is centered. I know that's not centered because, I mean, I don't need a tape measure to tell you that difference is... Well, maybe it is. Maybe the sticker's centered in the other things. I don't know. I clearly don't know as much as I think I know. Let's see. Let's see how much is sticking out. Problem is we got rounded corners, so it's hard to measure. 4 1/4. 4. Four 1/4. So now it's going to be 4 on the other side. Dumb. Less than 4. 4. And if it's crooked this way, then it's going to mess with my measurements. I just need to figure out where to put that mount. This is... Am I wasting too much time? Is this stupid? Maybe? Am I beating myself up over something that I shouldn't be worried about? Maybe? Is this Chinese ATV frame liable to be perfectly square? No. I mean... We're going to call that good. Man, that thing is not centered. But I knew that. I measured it and it said it wasn't centered. So, but that's the wagon manufacturer's problem. Those people should be ashamed of themselves. They're professionals. I'm just some hack in his own home garage. All right. So, yeah. So I just made a little mark in the center of the mount to line up with what I marked as the center of the chassis. We'll bolt that down. I'm sorry, we'll squeeze that to the frame, tack it, and then, yeah. We might even, let's try plug welds. This is probably completely unnecessary. Yeah. It's all lined up. We just give it a little tacky tack. Actually, I said I was gonna plug weld this. Let's just see what happens. You know, because I got lots of time on this job. So why not try something I've never done before? Drill a couple of holes, see what happens. See if she moves. That's pretty solid. I'll let you guys look. Look at that, almost looks like somebody new. No, that's a little more consistent with my normal. I think we're getting good penetration, judging by the heat around that. I don't think it's going to fall apart. Let's do a little grinding and see what that looks like. Alright, they're not great, but I think they're strong enough and they look slightly better than Ray Charles welded them with his feet. So, yeah, good enough for me. Now that we've spent probably over an hour on the front, let's sit back. Yeah, I think we'll do the back the same way. In fact, we might use a little angle on the back. Use a little angle iron if I've got some, that way I can cover these up, because those are ugly. I need a 12-inch chunk of angle iron, so naturally I found a 4-foot chunk of, what is that, is it called anything really? So we'll cut what we need out of that. I want to make sure that these are pretty even, because my goal is to cap them, because they look like garbage. But I don't want to weld on them, because I know with the edges being thin like this, I will blow holes in those. But I could plug weld up top here and have that just the way we want it. So let's cut us a nice square-edged 12-inch chunk. For that we'll use a bandsaw. Just kidding. Nope, no bandsaw. We now have a piece of angle iron. Didn't have to go to town. So, we're not going to get crazy with edge cleanup until we know exactly the shape this is going to take, because I will probably mark it to go along with the tub just like I did the other side. How are we going to find the center back here? We'll just mark it. We'll just remember where that is. And I made this 12 1/4, so the center of it will be miserable to find. Great, brilliant, genius. Why don't people just make things even numbers so that it's easier to find the center, he said. Because people are stupid, that's why. Yep, 12 1/4 inches, just like I said I was going to do. Enough nonsense and tomfoolery, back to work. What's the center of this hog? For the Lord. Oh, that's holy. 7 1/2, be 3 1/2, 3 3/4. I don't know how good that's going to be, because, yeah, still going to have to eyeball that hog. Here's a question that I probably already know the answer to. Is the back of this frame cut square? Don't look like it. But can it even be done that way? This is another one of those how much does it really matter moments. So that got us about what we want there. Do some work on these corners, make them more attractive where it hangs down. A little smaller radius on this one. Let's take her over to the bench grinder. See what we get there. I almost dropped that hot corner into the hole in my crock where all my dignity leaked out. Get her cleaned up a little and maybe drill some more holes for some more plug welds. That looks much better than those unfinished ends. I'm happy about that. Quarter. Okay. Let me step back. Does it look good? I think that looks pretty good. So do we just weld it to the chassis flat and let, I mean, it's gonna be real close, and then use the rubber, or do we force it to be 90 degrees like that? Kind of like that better. I'm not real sure how to do it. Do we just cut a little bit right there and bend it down until it sits the way I want it to? That seems like an opportunity for me to mess something up.
We can't afford to miss an opportunity.
Kind of like the idea of putting a little tab on there, bending it down and just tacking it, and then tack it here, plug weld it there, and that probably would be enough. No rocky, got in the same spot. Okay. Let's see how our tub looks on there. I think I like that. Yep, I think I like that a lot. All right. I think we might do a little tacky on that. So those maintain their position. Look at that. Fabricable. Money. Alright. Now we got to get it attached to which we'll do some welding there, some welding there. Maybe we'll do a little more plug welding since that went halfway okay last time. Ta-da! Ta-da! Alright, so now we do a little welding here, a little welding here, a little welding there, and in theory, this bad boy stays. Maybe we flip it over and do a little whoop whoop. I don't know. I don't know if that's necessary. I hope it's not. We will see. Yes, yes, we will. Let's see what she does without the vice grips. Because in theory, those two should hold it pretty good. Oh, yeah. Yeah! Woo! That makes me happy. So much so that I can't even make the words and the sentences. Yes! Let's keep going and mess it up. Honestly, I think that's good enough for China. Good enough for me. I don't think she's going to move. I almost grabbed it again, but it's still hot, I'm sure. I mean, I don't think that's going anywhere. Like flick the straps when you load the truck. It ain't going nowhere. All right. One more mount for the middle. Hell, then we might be moving on to paint. Wouldn't that be something? That just went together like it was just meant to be. Like peanut butter and ladies.
Oh, like for instance, if I say peanut butter and
ladies.
yeah, right?
Now we just got to get one right here, so when you put a, you know, a more robust child in there, that they don't fall through and bend the wagon. So how much stuff does we need? How many? We're just going to use that existing mount. We need about an inch. Man, I'll tell you what. Fabrication. Get in there. Is it too thick? Almost seems like it's too thick because of the ribs. Okay. Oh, I know what we can do. That'll be more complicated than necessary. It's going to be underneath. It's going to be underneath. It's on there, I guess. Doesn't look real pretty. Okay. It's underneath. Look at all this rubber. Oh, we even got some small chunks already. Probably got almost what we need, Hound. On the dog, on the dog. Hot on the arm. put some paint on this hog? Oh, we gotta make some adjustments to that steering stuff. Well, I think that's as far as we're going to get this episode. If you like what we're doing, please click like, subscribe, ring the bell so you know when we've got new videos coming out. The next time around, we'll get into the paint and all the finished work. And we're not done with the battles on this one, I'll tell you that much. So, until next time, thanks for watching. Check us out on TikTok, Facebook, what else now? Instagram. I think that's it. As always, remember, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.